Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conquer with Chris podcast, where I have a special guest today. We're going to talk about different things about business, but more importantly, relationships in business. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Lady M. Lady M, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
My pleasure. Lady M, let's talk a little bit. Let's let the people hear a little bit about your background, how you got to where you are.
Okay, just a little bit about my background. I would say this journey started for me more than 15 years ago. I first started as a published author back in 2009 with my first book called So You Want to Be Married. And that was right after my divorce from my first husband. And I just said, you know what? Okay, I seem like there's a voice for me and people need to understand the importance of why you want to marry the person you want to be with for the rest of your life. So that started then. Then across, something else happened. God said, it's time for you to go back to school. And I'm thinking, okay, sure. So I went back and I ended up getting my degree in human relations counseling, my bachelor's in that. And it was just the purpose and the passion for just doing just anything when it came to relationships, when it came to helping people. It's always been there. So I see that the tools now that I needed are actually now into leverage behind it. And once after I ended up getting that degree, now I'm in my certification for first my life coaching. I received my life coaching certification back in 2012. And then, of course, now just to hit today, 1 year ago, once we hit this pandemic, I received my certification in relationship and dating coaching. So I was like, okay, this is my purpose. This is my passion. And this is something I love to do. I don't feel that it's a job. I feel like it's my purpose, my passion, and I love to do that. And I also add that too as well in my radio. I have a radio show. I add it in my radio show that I do every Thursday night on WDRB Media. So just a little history about me, Chris.
I think it's important that you said that. I believe there's six main P's to life. As a matter of fact, six main P's is purpose, passion. You already said those, but there's the process you go through to find those things and to refine those things. There's a position, right? You got to find your position because there may be another relationship coach out there, but they're not going to do it the way you do it. And then there's the place, right? You're in the area you're in, and that could be geographical, and it could be a mental, emotional place. And then the last P is well, we'll just cut that out. I can't remember the last P. There's six of them though, and
I know it's six.
I use that to help people because without the passion, your purpose is void.
That's right.
Without the purpose, your passion is just sloppy. It's just all over the place. So in your finding your purpose and your passion, I want to get back to that for just a minute. It took the process of you going through everything you went through, the divorce, the schooling, the training, and now the things you do, you're finding your placement. As I was saying that, I just see kind of like you're running, right? And if a runner knows how to place their feet in a certain way to keep a rhythm, right? To keep a rhythm in the running. And so relationships are a lot like that. There's two people that are trying to run the race of life together, and they've got to come into a rhythm together. If not, it's a mess.
Yes, absolutely. That's totally true.
So how do you help people get in that rhythm together, right? So they can work together and achieve the same goal.
Well, what I suggest to people is first and foremost is your individuality, knowing exactly who you are as an individual, because you're bringing both your individuality and that person's individuality together. How can we mix and mingle together? What's our strengths? What's our weaknesses? How can we be able to help each other when one is down? How can we be able to be that, that runner, like you said, when the other person is not able to be that runner? How can we encourage? How can we do the things we need to do to come together, to mesh together? So first things first is finding that individuality. When you find your individuality and knowing who you are as an individual, then you're like, aha, okay, I like this. I like this. I don't like this. So you're finding that, that person might not like this, but this is where you find the balance in that and saying, okay, babe, you know what? I know you like football, but you know what? I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to understand. Can you help me to understand it? Because now I'm wanting to get into your world and understand the things that you love to do, because you're going to think about taking the time out to understand the things that I love to do. So, hey, most men don't like going shopping with their wives. They don't. Look at you.
Hey, I like to go buying. I don't like to go shopping. I told her, look, if we're buying, let's buy and let's go. But if we're shopping, I'm staying at home.
Right. She might want to go shoe shopping. So, it's just like, hey, I really want your opinion on these shoes and this and that. But that's your time together to connect and bond and, see what your tastes are together. It's like, okay, you might have a funky type of taste. Like you might like this color, she might like this color. But then that's when you guys find that equal and compromise together. So this is where you guys are taking that road and you're meeting each other in that role together to see how you can make it work.
Yes. That's profound. That's profound. But I'm not an expert like you, but I've been married 9 years. We're going on 10 this year.
Congratulations.
First marriage for me. And I have to say this, because I don't believe divorce, never, murder, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. So on a serious note, what we found that works for us, and I think every relationship is a little bit different. Yes. You can't just one size fits all type thing. Our opposites are way opposite of each other. So a lot of times this, like I'm a pro wrestling fan, guilty pleasure. So when I'm doing that, she's an artist. She likes art. She does. I'm not an art person at all. What do you think about this, baby? Yeah, okay. Babe, did you see that move? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to so but see, the thing is, I think too many times in relationships, people think the two shall be one is losing your identity, losing who you are as a person. No, keep your individuality, keep the things that you like to do. Look, if there's something my wife loves to do and I don't like, I say, go do it, baby. I give her time to do it. We try to give each other resources to do it, but there's things we like to do together, and there's things we like to do together that are separate. Like sometimes when we go on trips, she likes to go for walks, and I like to go for walks, but we like to do them differently. So we end up doing those things differently, but it's at the same time, so it's kind of together. It's just like I said, every relationship's different.
Different, absolutely, and every relationship has its own uniqueness that it builds, together. So like you said, that you both like to do walking and everything, but y'all end up meeting each other at that end place together. So that's
yes. I'm back at the car. Time to go. I happen to be a faster walker. She's looking at nature and stuff. I'm like, man, I need to get the exercise in. Let's go. Former athlete, cross country runner. I can't blame me. So let's boil this down. Since you're a relationship expert, I specifically wanted to deal with business relationships. So I know that you deal more with the dating and marriage side, but I think this is something that we need to, because this is the problem, right? When we meet people, sometimes, like I see someone like you, you're a great coach and motivator in the sense of relationships. And I say, hey, listen, I want to make you a business offer. That's akin to meeting a girl at the bar and saying, will you marry me? Oh, wait, there's no context. There's no pretext. There's nothing. And all of a sudden I'm asking you to in a way, from a business standpoint, get into bed with me. And that's not right. That's not proper. So we need help. Help us develop. I believe in the build, know, and like. Know, like, and trust model, where you get to know someone, you get to like them, then you begin to trust them. So help us through that model, so that way people don't, because like there's people trying to get you to sign up for their business. There's people who want you to help them with their business. So help the people that are listening to get that in their mindset, so they can deal with things in a proper way?
So I can actually give you a bad experience that I had. I think that once you have a bad experience, you will learn from that experience. I had hired someone to do some marketing for me. And, everything was going great, well, I was like, okay, wow, she has a great personality. I could see she's going to take it far for me. I see, great things that's going to happen. But I started to see some work ethics that I was like, this is not going to work. So I believe in, it's that probational period. That's for me. And I've learned that getting to know who you're going to go into business with, that's first and foremost. Do some research about them, talk more about what they overall enjoy about their business, get a sense of, is this something that's going to be a quick marketing scheme and they're gone? But is this something that's going to be lasting? If this is something that, oh my God, this is my family business. And, we have this in our generations for 10, 15, 20 years, and we're still going to go strong. This is what we love to do. This is a sense where you're going to do your research and you're going to sit down to get a sense to know that person and what they're going to bring to the table. If they're bringing you to the table bacon and you're like, wait a minute, but what happened to my steak? This is not what I asked for.
Or you're vegan, right? They bring you bacon. Hey, I just wanted fruits and vegetables.
So it's just like, it's not like, okay, they didn't do the time to really find out more about me as an individual, more of me about my company. They didn't take the time to do that. So you're just making sure you take the time to getting to know more and more about that person, how they work, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, just determining what their family life is about too, as well. Because I'm sure they probably have a lot on their plate and not able to juggle maybe, a conference call too. Are you willing to say, you know what, hey, let me take that off your plate? And, so that way we can actually go ahead and start doing things together, connecting together. Okay, is this going to be continued, all the time, or is this just going to be a 1 or 2 or 3, just actually just going through the process of everything to see if you're going to have some type of connection with that person in actually what you do in business. Because if anything, one thing about relationships is about connection. Am I going to have a connection with that person?
Wow, that's good stuff. And the last thing you want is to have Broomhilda. No offense to anyone named Broomhilda, but a Broomhilda where you just you go to work every day, and so you're a business. You're like, gosh, I go deal with Broomhilda again today. Goodness, and you're thinking about, I really like to fire Broomhilda, but their work's halfway decent, and they get the job done for me. But just dealing with, no, get rid of that person. Because that's the reason why you got a business, so you didn't have to deal with people like Broomhilda. Isn't it? If you can't, if in your spirit you feel that they're draining the life out of you, please get rid of them.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you start a business to be free.
Yes.
You didn't start a business to be shackled up. At least not me. You do what you want to do with your business. It's your business. You do what you want to do. So when you find that connection, I think that's important that you find out their work ethic, their integrity, all that kind of stuff, their family life or home life, because I think it's important, because too many times all that doesn't really matter. No, it does, because if you're a snake, it's going to show out at home. It's going to show out in how you slither into work, how you handle that marketing webinar you need to be on, and you don't show up for. There's always going to be, like, for me, I don't like a whole lot of excuses. I understand sometimes stuff happens, but when you start giving me excuse after excuse all the time, I just tend to kind of just drown you out, and I just can't hear you anymore. And at that point, I'm done with you, because those excuses. So What are the top, like, in your dealing with people, what are the top problems that people have in relationships? Like, whether it be business or at home, what are the top 3 or 4 things that people typically have?
I could tell you, number one, lack of communication.
That's good. And when you say lack of communication, because this is what I know, being in management and leadership and being a pastor, is typically that there's someone from your background and someone from my background. We have 2 different backgrounds. Any 2 people, it doesn't matter, skin color, age, whatever it is, we all have different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And even the same age, you might have come from Boston, someone from New York, different backgrounds. And so you have a preconceived notion of what someone's going to say or do. And sometimes they have a preconceived notion of way to communicate. And it's not the communication itself or the heart of what you're trying to say. It's the way it's communicated sometimes.
That's correct. That's correct.
So,
Because
so what other downfalls inside communication are there?
the downfalls in communication is, a lot of people don't tend to say what they mean, and then they want you to mind read them. And you can't do that. Please, just, if I can't tell if you're not feeling well, say, hey, I'm not feeling well. Or, hey, you know what? I need help here. I have a lot on my plate. Those are the things, those are the basic things that, you might run into that, or, okay, here's another thing. I know that we live in modern technology right now. And, some people get offended by text messages. And just
Well,
like,
I'll be honest, text messages are hard to read someone's emotion.
yeah, it is.
You could, like I could say something like, well, that'll be fun, and being sarcastic. But when you put it in the text, they think, oh man, this guy's all in. Let's go.
And that's what, that can get us in trouble too. Because I've seen that even in couples too. They're just like, well, what do you mean? And, it's just like, oh boy. Okay. So you might want to change how you may pick up the phone. And see, here's the thing, even with that, when you come across the parameter with the technology and where probably the era that you and I were born in, the phone, we used to call people and we used to speak to people. Now where actually everything is driven with a text message. So if you are trying to get something, pick up a phone and talk to the person so that way you can convey to that person what you're essentially trying to say. And that's what we call the kind of like the lack of communication at that point in time.
And I think one of the other things is, and this just from where I sit, is timing. One of the things me and my wife have done, and I think we did a decent job at it. At first, we were horrible at it, but because we got better over time, one of the things we learned was right now it's not a good time. I'm in the middle of something, or I'm already charged emotionally. You come in with that, we have all sorts of problems. I can't handle that right now. That's just too much, or it's just a bad time. I'm dealing with something, or I just got done dealing with something. Had to discipline a person at work, so I have emotional charge because like I don't really want to do it, but I got to do it because it's part of my job. All that stuff plays in, and you have to be emotionally. One of the things we don't teach is emotional intelligence. You got to be so emotionally mature and intelligent to understand.
That's good.
I don't want to walk into the lion's den right now because all the lions haven't eaten in 3 days and they all upset and they're hangry, not hungry, but hangry.
Hangry.
And you walk in there, your dinner.
Yes.
But so that's something we learned. What are some little tips that you could give to help improve the communication other than what we've already covered?
I mean, what you first said, that's key importance. Like, I can't approach it at this time. That's good. That's number one. That's a good thing too. I would say too, far as the communication too, as well, is like saying that even having that mature intelligence to know, like, okay, all right, let me pull back. Let me see what kind of headspace they're in before I, bring this situation or problem. just kind of know who the person, your friend, your relative, their type of behaviors, what they may have going on. This and this and that. And it's just all about respecting, what a person might have going on at that time. And here we're in a society right now because we're dealing with a pandemic, and some people might not get back to you immediately or for a day or two. You don't know what they might be going through at that time. So I would say, and you being a pastor, you should know this too as well. So it's just respecting people's time, being, just being very intentional, being empathetic, and as well as sympathetic as well. It's just making sure you're just having a kind heart to someone else's situation.
Wow. Wow. So, the people want to know where they can find you, how they can get in contact with you, what else you do. So share that with the people.
Sure. So I am, like I said, I am a certified relationship dating coach. And if you want to find me, I do have my website. My website is www.ladymthedatecoach.net. Again, www.ladymthedatecoach.net. You can also find me on IG and Twitter at the dating coach Lady M. I have to remember that. Dating coach Lady M on IG as well as Twitter. You can find me there. And also I am on Thursday nights at 6:15 Eastern Standard Time on iHeartRadio, WDRB Media. They're based out of Charlotte, so you can catch me there for my segment, my show there as well.
Well, that's great. I want to thank Lady M for being on today, and just make sure you connect with her. And thank you for being on. I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you.
I want to thank you all for watching today. Please like, share, subscribe, download, whether you watched or listened. Thank you so very much.